Hey everybody, future Frank here. You're probably wondering what's going on. Don't worry, the podcast is fine. We are super excited to have brand new audio equipment as well as a second camera. We were going to have two angles. It was going to be great. Yeah, and then it didn't record. So just know that for this episode and for the next episode, there will not be any video along with this podcast. But don't worry, we will correct our mistakes. And by we, I mean myself. We're going to correct them. Don't worry, we promise. So we hope you enjoy this podcast now with hopefully better audio. Yeah, I mean, that's much better than before.
Oh, yeah. A million times better.
Actually, your voice sounds really good. Why does yours sound... I feel like mine sounds worse than yours. How does your...
No, I think it's just because I'm, like, right here.
No, you're still... But the quality is really good.
Does it? You sound pretty good to me, so...
I don't know. I still feel as though... Oh, let me get that.
Maybe it's you just judging the sound of your own voice.
Hold on.
Or...
I forgot an important... Let's see if
syncing the
yeah.
the camera? Yeah. Huh? Ooh. Heard a little noise. Yeah, I'm still good. Still good. Ooh, what are we going to talk about today?
I mean, it's up to you, man. I'll get a timer for us so we can understand.
Oh, you want to talk about some D&D stuff?
We've already... Well, if you were here...
I meant specifically characters. Like, I'm talking like character ideas. Or we can think of a more interesting topic. Only because Ethan's sort of soft resetting his game on Saturdays.
Really?
He's putting the other game on hiatus so he can revamp it. And then we're doing a different game. And my two ideas for characters in that game are a arcane gunslinger and a druid. You can just do you, Tyler. Just do me.
Just play yourself. I mean, that's all it's about.
Yeah, but what would I be?
Yourself.
No, I meant like if I were to be a class in D&D, what would I be?
Oh, that's it. I mean, I'm a cleric, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that's I don't even have to think about that. That's just super obvious.
Yeah, but it's not so obvious for me. I feel like, it's a hard decision to make. Or not decision, but like, what factors of you decide what kind of D&D character you are?
No, that's a good question. We'll probably save it for another podcast. Speaking of which, hi everybody.
Hello.
I'm gonna look into this camera, and you
I'm
get to
look into that camera.
Oh my god! Wait, two cameras?
Two whole cameras, microphones.
Oh, and you hit it, Tyler.
I hit it.
But thanks to the shock mounts.
Yeah, we're fine.
It did not affect it as much. Tyler, wow, we must have come into some money.
Just a little bit.
Just quick heads up. First of all, welcome to the Blue Eclipse podcast. I'm Frank Joseph Hall.
I'm Tyler D. Spence.
We have some new equipment we're really excited about, which is why we're filming right now.
Super excited.
Literally just got this today.
Yeah.
And also Darius and I did technically film a second podcast. Let it be known that the audio quality, ironically in that, was not the best. A lot of background noise. This mitigates a lot of the background noise, which is nice.
Like a ton of it. It's wonderful.
Like a good chunk of it, yeah. I feel we're going to have to get definitely a longer cord for that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought 3 feet would be fine. It is nowhere close to fine.
Like 6 or 10 feet.
I would say
10 feet just to be safe. Yeah.
That'll be good for on the road interviewing and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're new here, welcome.
Welcome. Hopefully you're just now tuning in because it's going to sound way better than everything we've done previously.
Trust me, if we get really down the rabbit hole, we can get a mixer so we can fix the treble in the bass.
Oh, yeah.
But I have a fan going on behind me and I can't hear it.
I know, yeah, I can't hear it either.
It's so nice. It's wonderful. So nice. I kind of just want to talk about this.
Talk about this?
Well, no, let's talk about ourselves first. I mean,
we could talk about...
literally anything. Yeah, that's the point of the podcast.
Yeah, just talk about whatever. So I've been sick. You could probably hear it in my voice pretty bad.
I don't know. It sounds very professional, Tyler. I can't tell. What's really nice is so these are the Zayu, I believe is how you pronounce it. Here, let me hold up a box. Yep, Zayu. The Zinyu, sorry. Ooh. Zinyu. Ooh. I feel really offensive right now.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So everything you see here is actually... Tyler, you want to Vanna White it while I describe it?
What?
Vanna White it, just everything you see there It was actually surprisingly only $35. You would think, easily, Tyler, you would think
Easily.
that means it's cheap quality.
No, this sounds pretty good.
Well, not even just that. This arm is rather good. The pop filter. See, I said pop, and it didn't destroy the mic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, the K's are a little. See, you know that.
That's okay.
But yeah, the pop filter, the windshield, the mic itself, the shock mounts, the arm, all of this was about $32 to $35 per mic,
Which is really good.
and so we got 4
Yeah, we did.
because yes.
Because why not? Right?
And it was, yeah, but again, you would think for how cheap it is, it's like, oh, these are going to be crappy quality. This is good.
Yeah.
Like there are some mic arms that can be like $100.
Yeah.
Now, granted, those are like super long. They hide the cords.
Yeah, but we're not that professional here yet.
And honestly, it still looks professional. Even like, can you really see the cord? You can't because my mug's hiding it.
You can't. I don't think you can really see the cord on my screen because I'm zoomed in. You can just see how white I am, which is
It's true. You are very white.
I'm pretty pale. I need to get out more.
Yeah. If only we lived in a place where it was, mostly sunny.
I know, right? Where
Yeah.
it was sunny like literally year round, and
I know.
we could like go to the beach and like actually go outside and enjoy the weather like literally 90% of the year.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, what a shame. Real shame.
Actually, it was like 50 something this morning, and now it's 70.
See, it's funny because
Florida.
we'll say 50 something, right? And we're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cold. And then every other state will be like,
Oh, that's our warm. That's our spring.
that's our springtime, right?
What was it? A pastor of mine when we went to Alaska was describing to people there. They're like, so in Florida, we have 2 seasons. We have summer and what everyone else considers fall.
Yeah. Actually, I prefer there to be a 3rd season, and it happens somewhere in the middle of the year where it just gets really rainy. Just
No, that's
hurricane
summer.
season.
That's still summer.
It's still summer, but
It's still summer.
there's like a specific section of summer where it's
Yeah, it's May till like September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty long. But hey, I
And
mean,
that's if a hurricane even shows up.
actually, this podcast will more than likely, depending on how quick I'll edit it, this podcast will more than likely come out before the video that explains why
we're doing this.
Yeah, why we're doing this. Part of it I explained is Orlando area is such a great opportunity place for filming because it's consistent weather.
Right.
Like you know what you're gonna get for the most part,
exactly.
and if it rains, it passes so quickly.
Yeah, and I remember when you were talking about that, how there's like this stigma against people who aren't in LA, basically, for almost anything entertainment related. And I know a lot of people that are very unhappy living over in that area, especially.
Because it's, first of all, it's highly populated.
Yeah, it's extremely
It's so
populated,
bad.
and it's also extremely expensive just to live over there.
Yeah, like
Orlando's not that
I've known
much better, but
but I've known people who like they cram into like a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment and there's 7 people.
oh yeah,
And like
just to afford it.
yeah, starving artists, man.
Yeah, and some YouTube channels I've been watching recently. One of them actually just broke off from a group, and because he was so unhappy living in LA, and he wanted to do his own thing, and he was like, "Can't really take it here anymore," So he moved back out and everything.
Who I'm wondering who that is.
It's a YouTube channel I watch called Cow Chop.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them.
James,
Okay.
Uber Haxor Nova, for his YouTube name, but he left Cow Chop.
Do you know like Greg Miller and all of them? They left IGN, started their own show. Kind of funny, for not the similar reason, but it was more of political reasons.
Oh really?
Colin, I forgot his last name. I listened to his channel more than kind of funny now. But he did like a tweet on International Women's Day one year that was like, a day without women is quiet or something like that. And man, were people pissed off at him. And he's like, well, and like he was just at one point he was going on like Dave Rubin and Joe Rogan and like all these political sides. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna just go do that. And so he left him. And like that's the thing is, unfortunately, LA likes to pride itself on whatever LA thinks is important.
Right.
And if you disagree with that, it's super easy. I'm not going to say to get blacklisted because they don't necessarily do that anymore.
They still kind of do. It's more about this whole new Twitter canceled culture.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, well, I disagree with one of your opinions. I'm not supporting anything you do ever again.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, Kevin Hart said something stupid. Guess he's not hosting the Oscars because he won't apologize. I think that's a little different because he technically never apologized for it. But even then, it's still like, why are you guys? He gets announced that he's hosting the Oscars, and then people go after him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that canceled culture. It's the hate culture that a lot of social media promotes, which is why I'm not really on any of it anymore.
I don't blame you.
Just because it's so draining. You know, it's like
It really is.
every day you're hearing something new about someone.
And if you're the kind of person who feels like they have to find someone else's approval, man, that's going to drain you so fast.
Yeah.
It's going to drain you so fast.
I think I used to be like that, but I think now I'm starting to get a bit better about it.
I don't care about anyone's approval except for God. No, but for real.
Yeah.
Like, that helps a lot for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. But yeah,
I just like being happy with myself. I think that's sort of where I'm trying to reach at this point.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So,
but what is it? Yeah, so like LA is this unfortunate place where you kind of have to go, and it sucks. Like if you want to do anything, because that's where all the actors are, all the writers are, and it's like, well, I don't want to. I don't want to uproot my whole life for this thing that may or may not work.
Especially entertainment with how unstable it can be in a lot of
look at Chris.
places.
I think Chris Pratt's a great example. He was the biggest star ever, and now that he's like a really strong Christian and he's like not holding back on that, and a lot of Hollywood's like, okay, I mean, can you be careful about what he says? He's like, no, I'm gonna say what I feel, and he's slowly starting to push him back on stuff, and it's interesting in that regard, you know. But
that's because everyone wants to. No one wants to offend anyone. You need to find people.
Which is funny because you're offending people doing that.
Yeah, exactly. You're hurting people's feelings by trying not to hurt people's feelings.
It's funny the hypocrisy of we don't want to offend anyone except except these group of people. We hate those people. We're open to everyone except people who have this ideology.
Right.
Like, okay, no, you're not. You're just open to a certain group.
Right.
Like, just stop trying to claim that you're open to everything when you're not. But anyway, so LA's that. Austin's, I think aside from Rooster Teeth, Austin isn't that big of a place. It's literally just because Rooster Teeth is there.
Yeah.
And they were trying to make that like the LA for the internet.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. Didn't work out. Because what was nice about LA is you had a lot of actors who weren't getting as much job, who you could easily just be like, oh, hey, well, you want to do that acting thing? Yeah, I got this YouTube thing.
Right.
Bada boom. Oh, look, we made 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why most people are still in LA. Georgia's getting a little bit more up there for film, which is Atlanta specifically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because Marvel, that's where Marvel shoots.
Not only that, but Atlanta itself is also just a big cultural hub, especially with music and other things like that kind of just draw popular figures over towards that area.
Yeah, the Super Bowl halftime show was shot there. Because they always have it where like the Super Bowl is in one location, but then the halftime show's in another.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why it goes from like day to super dark at night to day.
Yeah, I don't really watch the Super
Also,
Bowl,
it's like, how did you set up that stage so quickly? Oh, and then where did all of these people come from? Yeah, it's because they're in a separate stadium. Yeah. It's one of those things where like the more you get into production, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. But yeah, Atlanta's getting a little bit bigger, but even then, I would still argue it's more people coming from LA to go to Atlanta for stuff.
Right.
It's not really like they get Atlanta talent if you want to work behind the scenes, you know.
Well, I'm surprised that Florida isn't more popular.
I go into that a little bit.
It's weird.
I go into that because especially Orlando. So Orlando, we have 2 really big film higher education spots. And then if you count FSU, that's a third one. But you have UCF, which is a huge film study that a lot of people go through. I know people.
It's just a huge college in general. Like,
yeah, and then you especially have Full Sail. The only other place Full Sail is at is LA.
Yep.
And that's specific.
Which is so weird that Florida isn't anywhere near as popular as LA, even with something like Full Sail.
And Universal Studios. Remember, the whole point of Universal Studios originally was a lot where you could go and film stuff. And then they're like, well, I guess we'll add in these rides after the fact so that more people will come and visit. And then they did that in Florida. The only reason they shut down this lot in Florida is because Disney, obviously, as a theme park, is doing a lot better. But like they're doing so well that they're like, well, we got to compete. So we got to put more rides in.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even then you could still, I think they still shut things down. When Jimmy Fallon was here because his ride was opening up, they shut stuff down and he filmed so much. in Universal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I almost forgot his ride existed, but I haven't been to Universal
to be
in a couple
fair,
of
it's
years.
I've from what I've heard, it's basically just like
It's one of those just literally car
it's the
rides,
Transformer
isn't
/ Spider-Man
it?
style.
Style, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the exact because those two are literally the exact ride,
Yeah,
turn for turn.
yeah, basically.
No, like 100%. I was like, oh, that's just the Spider-Man. It's like, no, but I love the Spider-Man ride. That was not. I'm like, yeah, it was.
I
It
remember
was.
from a long time ago when I did ride those rides. I remember the Transformer ride being more intense, but I think
It
that's
shakes
because
a
it was
little more. I think it
Transformers.
shakes a little more. That's it.
I think there's just more
Yeah.
explosions in the ride.
Yeah, probably. But I remember it being like, oh, this is the part where Hydra Man would punch Spider-Man because the water's getting squirted on me. Yep, I remember this part.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah.
that's why I've always liked Disney parks more than I have Universal.
Which, by the way, once we get that vlog camera, we 100% need to take a day where it's you, me, Darius, and whoever can get us into Disney.
I mean, I have an annual pass, so it's
Well, you
whoever
can get yourself into
I can
Disney.
get myself into
But
Disney.
I'm saying Darius and I need to get into Disney. And more importantly, because Darius has never been. And he's lived here
Oh my god!
for like his whole life.
Yeah, I forgot that he told us that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Hey.
why I didn't. Because I'm like, we could make content. We can make one video where it's just people who've never been to Disney be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, the
But
problem with
more-
the problem with getting him into Disney is that it's like we have to decide which park.
No? If we get someone who works there, it's a park hopper.
Oh, is it a park hopper?
Yep.
If it's
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what's nice. And you know what? We live in Central Florida, so we all know at least 5 people.
Yeah, we know like 5 or 6
My
people.
dad who retired can get us in there. Will can get us in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
man.
know quite a few people.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Central Florida. But yeah, I think it is just because LA's just like we don't want to move,
Yeah, I don't.
and so like
I mean, I already almost moved halfway across the country.
yeah, I know.
and
I also
wasn't
thought about
really
it.
I wasn't really a big fan of it. You know, first thinking about it because I was like,
yeah,
how many
I've-
people I know here, how many connections I have, everything else, and it's like,
Nope.
why not just do stuff here?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's I go into that a little bit. Like we don't want to uproot our whole lives.
Right.
Like I almost thought about going to LA, but it would have been like a in 5 years type thing. Like I graduate college, pay off my debt, and then just go.
Right.
Yeah, that was the original plan. It was just going to be like figure it out from there. And then like basically just thinking about it, especially finding that those buildings that used to be that car dealership that like no one's bought in years, and I'm like, wait, you have a literally a soundstage back there. You just need to do a little construction and boom, it's a soundstage. Put some AC in there, you're great.
Yeah, you're golden.
Like, oh, and then like look at that room for expansion. Like straight up, there's one building within a few feet, and you could just buy that one.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a dentist place. it's like teeth. It's like
Something.
yeah. So it's like, oh no, yeah, you could easily just be like, hey. But obviously, we can't just start off there.
Right.
Yeah,
Start off in here.
we can start off in here.
Technically,
Yeah.
we kind of already have.
I know. That's what's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the hardest part's going to be, so you're moving in soon into
Yeah.
this house specifically.
Yes.
So that's going to make filming a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I
Most
think,
definitely.
oh yeah, for sure. I think obviously we talked about like wanting to renovate this room and make it more like studio-ish. Like this is nice. This is a nice, like we're lucky enough that the game room looks presentable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see some of the menus behind me.
with
but-
all of the games and all of everything else in here, and it's like, oh, sweet, you know.
But it's also nice to be like more, oh, that's clearly this and that's clearly that.
Right.
You know, make it a little bit more fine-tuned.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff we can easily do in here and make it look nice for sure.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. And then that way we just have one room where we can film stuff. But yeah, that's the hope. And then obviously
The dream.
from the like this is current plans. It's the idea of we know where we want to go. We know where we are now. It's the in between that's the tough part. But obviously at some point probably getting an office space. Because I hear for a lot of people who work from home, just in general, that's very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily to do your work.
I think it just depends on how you balance it. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people feel that since it's right there at home that they should work more often, and I
Some
think that
people feel
leads to
that
more
way.
stress.
Some feel like they're not motivated enough to do anything else.
Yeah, like the opposite effect, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's right there, so I'll just get to it whenever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like the idea of like, well, I have to literally go somewhere else to do work.
Right. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
know a few people who do the streaming thing and everything else that they have whole different spaces that they go.
Yeah.
They moved it because one, they could get a better internet package there for that specific thing.
Oh yeah. That's super important.
Yeah, depending on who your internet provider is and everything else. Some YouTubers I know have had to go not only get a separate office space, but they've had to buy literal business internet packages, which are meant to be for full-on businesses just for themselves, so that way they can afford a decent enough internet to be able to stream consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. If we're gonna wanting to be a production studio, we're gonna obviously have to expand, get more people, which means while someone's streaming, other people are going to be editing and doing other things with the internet. So you're going to want that to be good.
Yeah, I definitely think that should be one of our first things that we move towards, is some kind of office space where we can just set up essentially a bunch of computers
and then some places to film. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
No. We have ideas.
Yeah.
It's just getting to the point of being able to implement them.
Right.
Like the Betrayal Legacy series I want to do. I feel like that's going to be fun. Just amping up the more role play aspect of that and making it like really fun in that regard.
And I mean, all of the stuff that I want to stream, all the games that are coming out and all the stuff I have interest in and everything else. And,
I finally looked into Apex Legends. Yeah, I see the appeal. I see the appeal.
Super fun. I've been back on Destiny 2 recently.
That sounds so far away.
Due to being sick. But I've been basically inside when I'm not at work. So Destiny 2's kind of picked back up into my life. It's definitely got those MMO aspects where you kind of suck you in a little bit, because it's just this checklist of things that you need to do. Where it's like, all right, here's all the daily stuff, here's all the weekly stuff. It's like marking down a checklist. It's satisfying to play. Yeah. But besides that, Division 2 came out. I bought that. Apex Legends Battle Pass just came out. Played a couple games of that today. I think and Sekiro comes out, the next game in the Dark Souls series, which is supposed to be the hardest one.
Interesting. As
said by the actual developer.
As said by the person who made it.
Yeah, being like, this is the hardest one yet. So I've heard a few good things so far from the people that got to play a few hours of it. They put out videos on that stuff. And more games are coming out every year. Cyberpunk 2077's like right around the corner finally. And everyone's waiting for CD Projekt Red to put that out so we can all give it the same praise that Witcher 3 had, if not more.
Yeah, I'm excited about if we ever get to... Well, obviously we're going to get to a point of streaming. But like being able to actually play video games again. Because like... I don't know. It's just like on my own. It's not something I want to do. Because
I need to take a break from video games. I think, to sort of get my some stuff figured out.
My thing is like if I want to play a video game, it has to have a really compelling story. But then half the time I just want to listen to something while I play a video game. So it's kind of like
I know exactly how you feel, which is why I have stuff like Destiny 2 and everything else.
But then the problem with that stuff is then you want to socialize with people. If I want to socialize with people, I'd rather just play like board games or RPGs or something like that.
Oh yeah, but I have people that I play Destiny 2 with regularly that are usually on when I'm on. So it's like I always have a group of people to play the game. I wouldn't play that game nearly as much if I didn't have friends who were on it almost every day.
Yeah, no, that's important.
Because it's a very team-based game. You can't really do much stuff solo in that game. I mean, you can, but it's nowhere near as fun. So
no, I get you. But yeah, especially when like I was explaining to Darius because we did a board gaming episode of the podcast. Go ahead and check that out. I figured out how iCards work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have to watch the whole video. It's not fun. But I was explaining to him like, yeah, look at all these board games. I haven't played some of them. And he's like, how? And I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah. Like it's a very time consuming process. And there's like, especially some of my favorite games on this wall.
They're only 4 players.
Not only that, but they're also very extensive. Like you dedicate the whole game night to that.
Yeah.
Like I've never played the Fallout board game we have over here.
We would want to probably, because I've played it because you can play it solo.
Yeah.
You want to change a few rules.
Or, for example, the one game that I've never actually fully had the chance to play, the Level 7 Protocol.
Oh yeah,
which
that's
is like
just
a full
dungeon
on. It's a
crawl.
dungeon crawl with like literal like what Space Marines, right?
We took a day. We're like,
We took a day. We're gonna
play it,
learn it,
and
we're
then
gonna play
we got like 3 hours in.
into reading the rules and like just setting everything.
We played it.
We did play it a little bit,
and then like at some point I think we were really close to ending or something, and then we just stopped.
Yep, we just
Because it's like, okay, the game master guy isn't having fun here.
yeah.
Everyone keeps forgetting how many rules there are, and that was good because like it made me think, okay, probably don't get more of those, because even I wasn't that much of a fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but then again,
Yeah.
I like those games like that. I know one of my personal favorites that I think I'm one of the only people that enjoy it is which one is it?
I don't know which one is it.
It's the
Is it Spectre Ops?
no. Well,
Yes,
Spectre Ops is one of them, but it's no, it's the zombie one. It's the Dead.
Dead of Winter.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fun.
I love that game.
Oh, that's fun.
I love that game.
No one ever wins in it, but it's fun.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's why it's
so hard
fun,
to
just because it's
I
difficult.
remember one time I got close because they found out I was the traitor, and then they kicked me out. And then I was like, oh, this is like my traitor goal was survive with one person or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. And then somehow everyone screwed me over, and I was like, oh well, I lost.
Yeah, and I heard actually one of the most fun times we had playing that game is when we were at Dice Tower Con.
Yeah,
That was really fun.
that because it was Yumi, Savory, and then a random guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun.
and I don't know if Saver had ever played before.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like, I don't think any of us were the traitor.
No, I don't. Yeah,
we
I
still
don't think
lost.
anyone. Yeah,
We still lost.
yeah, I don't think anyone was the traitor, and we just didn't have enough supplies to
No.
meet what was because it was a co-op thing.
It was one of the hard difficulties.
Yeah, so for people
Long.
so for people that have never played the game, essentially it's like a campaign type scenario where it's like you have different levels of difficulty you decide from the beginning, and you basically pull
You have a mission
from a deck of cards that decides your mission for that game, and usually most of the time that usually involves a traitor of some kind, like one of the people basically going rogue.
Well, they're trying to make it fail. Yeah,
make it fail or do something for their own game, but
and how they mitigate that is then everyone has a secret mission. So it's like if you're not the traitor, it's like win the game or like survive and try to have these cards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and do this, and and so that way everyone looks shady, which is smart.
Yeah, and there are some scenarios though where no one's the traitor, and it's just a really difficult. Like,
I think statistically, if you do it the way the rules right, no one's going to be the traitor.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like if there's 4 of us, it's like 6 cards. So is it like and one's the traitor?
Is that like a home rule that we do then?
I think so.
Or there's a traitor more often? Because I think we enjoy there being a traitor more often than not. Mostly because you win more often if there's a traitor.
And then what's interesting, you could at higher levels or higher player counts, you can have more than one traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Bass is also a fun game. I played that in college.
I have not played that one yet. That's the one where people choose like one person's controlling the tunnel or like the caves.
There's a knight, there's a thief, there's a bunch of goblins, there's a dragon, and then someone's the cave.
Yeah.
And it's like each person has different objectives, but they also have different ways of playing it. So like the knight's just trying to kill goblins and then eventually kill the dragon. The dragon's just trying to do something else. The cave is trying to kill everybody. The goblins are just like, well, we don't want to die, so
right.
And the thief just wants the treasure and wants to get out. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, there's a lot of board games that we don't get the chance to play, or I don't get the chance to play. And he was asking, he's like, why don't you just play them by yourself? I'm like, I tried, and the problem is the second you need to have hidden information, it's very difficult to play by yourself.
No.
Because it's like, oh, I hope he doesn't have this thing. Oh, he had the thing that I knew that he had because I'm playing him too.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, yeah, and I mean, plus board games.
Then it just turns into that one Pixar.
Yeah, well, I mean, and board games are supposed to be social anyway, So it's sort of like playing a board game by yourself sort of defeats the purpose of the board game.
Yeah, exactly, and it's an unfortunate thing. The one game where you can't, like the one game type you can 100% always play by yourself is co-ops, because you just play all the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Fallout sells itself as a game that you can play with 1 to 4 players.
1 to 4, yeah.
So, I mean, there are games designed for it. Don't get me wrong, and I still play solitaire. So there's still some fun in single player type games like that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's just,
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to find a balance, especially in our friend group, because everyone likes vastly different games.
And it's not, well, I was explaining because the biggest issue is that since we're so inconsistent with how often we play, is if we very rarely get a handful of people, like 4 or 5. Very rarely is that the amount. It's usually like, because if it's like 2 or 3 people say outside of me say, hey, we can do it, then they're like, oh, it's just going to be 3 of us. I'd rather not play.
That's what we should
do. But
then
we get usually like 8 to 10. And then the problem with that is like, okay, well, let's split up.
Many games.
Let's split up. No
one wants to split up.
I haven't seen you guys in forever. I don't want to split up who I it's like, oh,
and then the games that involve that many players are always the ones that have either some kind of traitor mechanic, or you're basically telling everyone you're lying, and everyone gets tired of those games, even though I don't. I really love
I enjoy it too.
I love games like Werewolf. I love games like Cash and Guns.
Yeah. The problem with those games is that I can tell I get everyone's tells really easily, especially if we keep playing them. Then like there's a time where it's like, oh hey Pedro. It's like there's times where like Pedro can easily tell I'm the traitor, and I can easily tell Pedro's the traitor. Stuff like that, where it's like,
I think the other issue with that too is that eventually what happens is because in our friend group we're really inconsistent. So sometimes we'll just do things just to do things. So like,
oh, true.
Yeah. So like randomly
round one fail.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
we'll be playing Cash and Guns, which is everyone basically gets
everyone
a gun.
Kills the first person,
and then everyone's
in the first round.
Yeah. Everyone's just
wasn't that you?
Yeah, it was me one time. Everyone was just like no one had really said anything, but I guess there was some kind of mental link that went around the room, and they were just like,
I think it was
so we're gonna shoot Tyler.
It was Brandon and Will specifically.
Oh yeah.
But one of them had the ability that if it's the first shot on them, it's 2.
Yeah, it's 2
and
wounds.
You have 3 life.
Yep.
And I think the technical ruling is you still take those 2 hits because technically you didn't have any wounds before that.
Right. And the thing is that, me, because, I ain't no punk. I ain't scared of no one.
You didn't back down.
I didn't back down. Cool. So I was like, nah, they won't do that to me.
Oh, they did that.
Oh, wait. They did that to me.
Oh,
and then you're just out for the rest of the round.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, okay.
That was fun.
People start picking on, like, especially when you get a lead, they'll be like,
well, yeah, I mean, at that point,
kind of the point.
You should.
Right.
You should. Like, I usually, in games like that, will point out, hey, this person's clearly about to win. Let's stop them so I can win.
Right.
Yeah. But, like, also the problem is, like, our group, obviously, because we have such a diverse range of stuff, like, there's only so many types of games people, like, they want the more fun games.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, but I got this game that's more about like the mechanics and making sure you get the right amount of points. And it's like, oh, that's fun. It's okay. I'm like, no, we can still talk during the rounds. We're just not, the game's not the one that makes.
It's not as social.
Yeah, the game's not the thing that's like making us have these jokes. We have to then naturally.
It's one of those things where it's why games like Werewolf are really popular, because the whole point is to talk to other people.
Yes.
And that kind of capitalizes on the social thing that is board
reoccurring jokes
games.
keep coming from
exactly.
that. Yeah. Versus
like Brandon's always the trapper.
Yeah. Trade. No, the Tanner.
The Tanner. Yeah.
Versus like Trade on the Tigress, which is a fun game I played at Dice Tower Con. Got it. That's a really fun game, but it's
these are new.
Yep, literally they're all new.
Those.
The Critters is probably one that would get played in our group. It's actually pretty fun. It was a German game, and then it got ported to America and got like rethemed and everything, and it's that now. Cool, but it's actually pretty fun.
Very cool.
But yeah, like I couldn't bring that up because it's like, what? I already lost interest because you put out so much stuff.
And the other problem is that every time
can we play Jenga instead?
Since we meet so inconsistently, a lot of people don't want to take that time to learn new rules. Yeah. So we often play the same game
over and over again.
Even
though this game is super easy to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we'll call this podcast. I'll come up with something clever, but I really enjoyed this test run.
Yeah.
I say test run in air quotes because I've already done like 5 other tests with this. I literally did 1 test. And then I did 2 videos with this. The why we're doing this video and the April update video using these microphones.
Yeah.
And it's so weird how I didn't think I'd be a tech guy, and like now I'm like giddy because I'm like, oh, there's new microphones.
Yeah, so cool. Everything's super interesting.
I want to play with my toys more.
I literally told him before, like when I walked in and I saw the equipment, and I was like, so we're recording a podcast, right?
Oh, we're recording more than a podcast, Tyler.
Yeah.
No, well, and now we can finally do a force to comply that we keep talking about how we're going to do.
Right.
But now
it'll actually sound good.
Because the issue before then was our microphone would pick up too much.
Yep. These will not pick up too much at all.
Oh man, no, they're so good.
It'll be great.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the new sound quality. Hopefully you enjoyed my sickly voice and Frank's
To
wonderful
be
voice.
fair, you're because of your sickness, like the bass in it, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
But yeah, hopefully you'll see a lot more, especially of me. I know I've been kind of from the podcasts a little bit gone recently.
Because Darius lives like 5 seconds away.
I live a
it's
little
super
bit
easy.
further.
Yeah, but with you moving in,
Yeah.
it could literally just be like, hey, I'm bored. You know what?
Let's film a podcast.
Let's just film a podcast, which we'll probably do after this. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to see. Did you hear that car that went by? That it wasn't picked up with the microphones, but it was always picked. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
so nice. It's so nice.
Wonderful.
Please subscribe. Tell your friends. Share. Comment. Like all that stuff.
Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you can see when our next video is coming out.
I'm not a fan of saying this stuff, but when we only have as many subscribers as we have right now,
just do it.
Yeah, please.
It's good.
Please, we
and the
appreciate
quality
it.
is only going to get better from here.
Seriously. And yeah, spread the word.
100%.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.